Okay, today's story is from Chinese Myths and Legends, and we are reading Pangu and the Creation of the World. The Chinese believe that in the beginning, the universe was empty except for a big ball of energy shaped like a chicken egg. This ball of energy had existed since the beginning of time and was called chaos. Inside the egg, only mist swirled about, until one day, the first living creature formed in chaos. His name was Pangu, and he is the ancestor of us all. After he was formed, he slept for a long time while his body grew bigger and bigger. At first, his body was very small, but after 18,000 years, he grew so extremely big that chaos could no longer hold him. His strong and heavy head poked against one end of chaos, and his sturdy feet strained against the other end. By this time, Pangu was enormous beyond measure. In the small and narrow space of chaos, Pangu was cramped and uncomfortable. One day, he became so uncomfortable that he awoke. He opened his eyes in amazement. Beyond the haziness of chaos, Pangu saw darkness so inky that nothing else was visible. "I'll soon change this situation," thought Pangu to himself. He stretched out his hand and made an immense fist, which he struck against the wall of chaos with all his might. Kabam! The shell of the egg of chaos cracked. As the stuff of chaos leaked out into the darkness, the clear and light energy, called the yang by the Chinese, curled upwards and formed the beautiful blue sky. The heavier, murkier elements, called the yin, sank to form the earth. After chaos was divided, the universe became a bright, wide space. But the distance between sky and earth was very small, and the elements of the sky and earth would frequently mix. Pangu couldn't stand up straight in this space, and felt like dividing the two, so that more distance separated them. Finally, one day Pangu was so bothered that he planted his huge feet on the ground and his hands against the sky. Pangu grew an inch every day, and the sky was accordingly pushed 1 inch higher each day, and the earth grew 1 inch thicker from the pressure of his heavy weight. Time passed. Day after day, Pangu stood between heaven and earth, not daring to let go of his hold on the sky, afraid that heaven and earth would mix and would all revert to chaos. His salty sweat streamed down from his forehead, stinging his eyes, but he couldn't mop it away. It flowed down his body and fell as rain and dew onto the ground. There it collected into pools to form the seas and oceans. The work of supporting the sky was extremely hard, and Pangu could not suppress a deep sigh of suffering. His breath turned into the floating clouds and the wind, and the sound of his sigh became the rumbling thunder. Over many, many years, he saw the heavens slowly rise, and the earth grew thicker and thicker, and he rejoiced. Finally, after another 18,000 years, the sky was very high, and the earth very thick. There was no longer any danger of sky and earth mixing. At last, Pangu was satisfied, and let go his hold. But the strenuous work of holding earth and sky apart for so long had exhausted Pangu, and he fell to the ground immediately. His body became the massive mountains, his blood and body fluids the surging rivers. his sinews and veins transformed into narrow and crooked roads, his skin and muscles the fertile fields. The hairs on his skin turned into the beautiful and multitudinous grass, flowers, trees, and woods. Even his bones and teeth turned into bright, hard gold, brilliant jewels, and precious pearls. His beautiful hair flew up and filled the whole sky with countless bright stars. Pangu was still not dead, and observed the changes with great satisfaction. He knew he was dying, but he wanted to gaze upon his work forever. He winked, and sent his left eye into the clear sky, where it turned into the golden sun. He winked again, and his right eye also sailed past the clouds, and turned into the bright and silvery moon. Thus, to this day, Pangu looks lovingly down upon his greatest creation, the bountiful and beautiful earth. Pangu and the creation of the world. The end. Thank you so much for listening. Good night, everybody.